Well, we've travelled over 300 miles and virtually the length and breadth of England, and now it's time for the P1 Superstocks. Welcome to a rather wet and windy Hull for the second weekend on the P1 Superstock calendar. The waterfront down here in Hull has seen a huge amount of regeneration in recent years, including this fantastic building behind me, which is a wonderful tourist attraction, the Deep Aquarium. Located 25 miles from the North Sea on the junction between the River Hull and the Humber Estuary, Hull is one of the busiest ports in Great Britain, carrying over 1 million passengers a year and huge amounts of freight from Scandinavia and the Baltic states. And soon to be one of the greenest by becoming one of the largest manufacturers of wind turbines in Europe. Well, it was just over a month ago down in Plymouth when it all kicked off, and our very own ex-British champ and P1 racer, Shelley Jory-Lee, is here to tell us what happened.
Plymouth was a bit unusual because for the first time we had the Panther 250s and the smaller 150s racing at the same time but on different courses. Now at first I thought this was going to be really confusing and not work, but it actually did, and as far as the spectators were concerned it was brilliant because you actually knew who was racing against who all at the same time. Team Purple dominated the 150 class in Plymouth. Should have been 3 out of 3 wins, but unfortunately on race 2 they pulled the kill cord, which left the podium spot wide open for Black Magic. Well guys, the first race was brilliant, wasn't it? You just stormed it.
It's good, we just got off the line well and led from the front really.
Race 2, you were out there, you were in the lead again, and then it all went wrong.
Stuart said I was wiggling around in the seat, so I just pulled the kill cord out. Didn't even know. First time I've ever done it.
Any other tactics for today? Because the weather's changed.
Trimming in, ploughing through it, just keeping it constant.
In the Panther 250 class, there was great racing and full of drama. But the shock of the weekend was the 2 Deans, Stoneman and Paling, winning all 3 races in Pickfords on their P1 debut. Guys, 3 races, 3 wins. Dean, how did you do it on that first weekend?
Yeah, Plymouth was the first weekend of powerboat, and to go out there and win all 3 races, first ever time in a powerboat, was a great achievement. And to come up to Hull this weekend, hopefully we can do the same.
Tactics for this weekend in Hull, change of weather, what are you going to do different?
The weather conditions have changed this meet. We're just going to try our 110% and get through it all.
Have you been out in the rough practicing?
Well, we had an hour or 2 out in the rough solo, but it's the same with everyone, restricted testing, but at the end of the day it's trying to make it fair for everyone and make it tough for everyone.
Well, it certainly looks like they're going to be one of the teams to watch this weekend, but I'm sure some of the other racers have got a thing or two to say about that as well. And Sarah's been down in the pits getting the lowdown.
After a relaxing night last night at the Guildhall and a welcome from the Lord Mayor, the guys are back to work today, busy preparing for what's going to be tough conditions here in Hull. John, can we interrupt you for a moment?
Sure.
I just wondered, you've got a new navigator this weekend.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's an opportunity for Nigel, who's part of the Mission Motorsport team, to have a go in the big boat. And Neil and I decided that there was time to move on. So we're having a go now and see if Nigel and I can make a winning combination.
Last time 150, navigating to a Rose. Today 250s. What's going to be the difference?
Everything happens a lot quicker. I went out with John the other day and it was very noticeable that the boys come at you a lot quicker, the other boats are moving up on you in different speeds, and it does obviously handle in a different way as well.
Rose, can we just interrupt you? What have you got there?
Oh, you've got to see this. This is something that Nigel gave me. He navigated for me in Plymouth to help me out, and gave me that when I arrived here yesterday.
This looks like an accident about to happen.
It might have been.
But wasn't, luckily.
Well, it just shows you what close racing, we experience.
That's fantastic. What have you been doing this morning then?
Well, I've just got up about half an hour ago. I got here about 5 o'clock in the morning, so looking worse for wear. So, yeah, glad to be in Hull, and it's not raining. So
it's not raining, but it's looking very windy.
Windy, which will be good actually. I think we had a very calm race in Plymouth. It'd be nice to go out and have a rough race, sort the men out from the boys. But obviously, if it is a bit bumpy, then yeah, a whole new set of conditions come in.
And what about you?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, been getting the boat ready. Miles turned up this morning, so getting the preparation, done the nav. So hopefully, we'll go out there, like Miles says, get a bit of a better start. With all the boats being much more even, and yeah, go for the win and get on the podium.
Well, this is the point in the programme where we normally have a chat to Shelley about the racing today, the course, and what we can expect to look forward to. But as you've guessed it, the weather up here in Hull, it's not playing ball, is it, Shelley?
No, I'm afraid, Kevin, it is complete pants. That's all I can explain it to. Unfortunately, for safety reasons, we're not going to get the P1 Superstock race out today. I think we're running at about a 4.6 at the moment. We've got wind over tide. We've got really, really rough conditions.
And wind over tide, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Wind in one direction, tide in the other. These boats are going to be catching air.
Yeah, one of the strong features is the safety feature, and if the safety ribs can't physically get to a person that may have come out of a boat safely and get them off the race course, you're in trouble.
But it's slightly different from the aquacross boys. They might get out on the water.
Hopefully, they're slightly more madder than the powerboat racers. They love a little bit of swell and a little bit of airborne moments. So I think if you're lucky, we might see them out this afternoon.
Well, let's hope so. So a P1 weekend isn't just about the guys in the boats. Take Jack Moore here. He's currently ranked 2nd in the world, and he's already a legend in the freestyle jet skiing world, which is fantastic for somebody who's just 17 years old. Take a look at this. We're down here at the wet pits now then with Paul Rivet, and Paul, you've got a bit of a background in car racing, so this is all a bit new for you.
Yeah, it's very new indeed, but I'm absolutely loving it out there. It's a great challenge to be out doing this. It's it's windy today, it's going to be rough out there, it's going to be tricky, so yeah, just going to have to see how we get on. It's a baptism of fire for me today, that's for sure.
Well, I just literally brought the ski for aquacross. Never ridden a ski before 8 months ago today, so it looks rough, so I'm going to enjoy it today.
When it's rough like today, all the skis are quite even, no matter the horsepower difference, so you'll get a lot of skis all at the first corner.
Kawasaki Ultra 300 rider Russell Marmon conquered some of the worst conditions ever experienced in the P1 Aquacross Championship during the opening race of the weekend in Hull to claim his first victory of the 2012 season. The reigning champion needed all of his experience of rough conditions to emerge victorious in extremely choppy waters on the Humber. Marmon remains 2nd in the point standings behind Jim Goodchild, who finished in the runner-up spot despite suffering a suspected broken rib in the race when he landed heavily in the opening lap. Tim Batt fought Marmon hard over the first couple of laps, with Goodchild 3rd at that point, but as the 30-minute race wore on, Marmon pulled away to a clear victory in ever-worsening rain and high winds. Kevin Ashley claimed an excellent 3rd ahead of Batt in the 300 class, while local rider Steve Robinson rounded out the top 5 and took his 3rd successive win in the standalone Sea-Doo Challenge. Dave Huddleston won the 250 class astride his Kawasaki, his 2nd win of the season from points leader Matt Shipley, while Aquacross debutant Mark Shaw had a true baptism of fire in the extreme conditions, but delivered a sensational result, taking 3rd. Confirmation of the top 3 in all 3 classes, with Chris Leach 1st in the 200s, Dave Huddleston top in the 250s, and Russell Marmon triumphant in the 300 class.
The roughest conditions we've ever seen. Talk us through it.
Well, yeah, it was for here. It wasn't like it was huge waves, but it was wind against tide, so it was a lot of kinetic energy there. So you hit the wave, go up, and the wind catches the hull. You know, it becomes almost uncontrollable at times.
So sadly, the P1 Superstock boys didn't make it out today, but congratulations must go to Russell Marmon and all of the other aquacross riders who enjoyed 20 or 30 minutes there of adrenaline-fueled choppy water action. Join us in part 2 and we'll see what the weather's doing in the morning. Welcome back to day 2 here in Hull, where as you can see we've woken up to blue skies. There's a bit of sunshine, Shelley. Fingers crossed we're going to have some racing.
Yep, sun is out. The wind has dropped quite considerably. We need it to go down a little bit more, but I think very soon the teams are all getting ready. We are going to see some good racing.
Well, fingers crossed, and here with the latest word from the teams, it's Sarah.
What are our thoughts about today?
Depends on the wind, depends on the speed of the tide.
What's your strategy then for getting off the line today?
Getting to turn buoy 1 first. You know, we can't all go flat out, so it gets more testing.
And what about the conditions?
Well, we won't know till we get out there, because I mean, allegedly the weather is meant to change dramatically between even now and 4 o'clock.
The rougher better, you know. We don't muck around, we like it tough, so it'll be good fun.
As you can see here this morning in Hull, conditions so much better, no white tops, brilliant. We've got a course of 1.75 nautical miles. The real tough bit, I think, is going to be buoys 5, 6 and 1, where you're going to be fighting against that really strong tide to go around that quite difficult corner. Pretty tough out there.
So thanks to Shelley there. Time though now to hand over to Dave Moore for the race commentary.
Good luck, mate. I'm not looking forward to this one. Just hold on and tell me where to go, and I'll try to do the rest.
There's certainly a feeling of caution among some of the crew members, as we've just heard. And even though from above the surface looks fairly calm, it's about to be torn up by both the P1 Panthers and the P150s.
Good back. He's off, he's off. Green, go, 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 go!
So we're away at Plymouth. It was Pickford's who had the best start in all 3 races. And they're looking as if they're pulling away from Ian Brusby and Simon Wing in Edox. And it's getting fairly rough already. They're bouncing around a little bit as we see 88 Palu get away rather smartish. That's who we ride with. Attempts just to their right, Pickford's just to their left, but Simon Bells and Philippa Baker off to a flyer, but here come Pickford's. That was Mike Lovell and Luke Elkin in Peters and May as the Panthers leave the P150s behind. And talking of leaving behind, it would appear Pickford's are getting into their stride, and judging at the view from Typhoo, they now lead. So Pickford's on the inside and leading with Palu second and Batemps in third.
Okay, this is going to get messy, Mike. I think the right there, 10 left to start, that's good.
Those trailing are now well and truly in the wakes of the leading crews. Dean Stoneman and Dean Paling and Pickford's in the #1 position. Around the turn and across the wakes, there'll be a few bouncing their way around. The crews come close to the harbour wall. The spectators get a great view along here. Staying out of the wake looks to be the best option in these conditions. And he will be, and Miles Jennings in Typhoo trying just that. It's easier on the straights, not so on the turns. Edox and Batemps locked in a battle for 4th. Ahead of them is Palu, and to the left is Oval Insurance. And there they are, about half a dozen boat lengths behind Pickford's. And he will be, and Miles Jennings giving us a demonstration of how choppy the Humber is right now. They're right in the wake of the boat in front, which looks like Batemps. It really is quite tricky in the turns as the P1 Panthers disappear in a hail of spray. This is the view from Ian Brusby and Simon Wing. Oh, really getting chucked about. That looked like a hard landing. There's the P150s, Team Purple from McDonnell Mermaid with Team 73 and Black Magic just behind. Palu churning up the Humber, and Batemps very close and trying to power up the inside. So it's Pickford's leading and looking to make it 4 wins out of 4. And who would bet against them at present? A big lead with the rest fighting it out amongst themselves. Peters and May and Eddock side by side. Look how choppy it is. Whoa! A real roller coaster of a ride. It really is a sterling effort by all the crews involved. They're working twice as hard today. Here's the replay. On board with Peters and May.
We carry on? Yes.
Well, Pickford's look to have this sewn up, but there are plenty of battles further back. John Wilson and new partner Nigel Hindmarsh right in the thick of it. No such concerns for Pickford's. They've got clear water ahead of them. Attempts now going up the inside of Oval Insurance, and that move we saw a moment ago could well be paying off for John Wilson and Nigel Hindmarsh. This is the view from inside Oval Insurance. A brand new team for this year, James Norville and John Collingbourne. P150 class, it's McDonald Mermaid from series leader Team Purple. That's first and second. Further back, Mark Neal and Alex Strong in Thames Mission Motorsport ahead of Vince and Jade Berridge in Black Magic. Simon Bales and Philippa Baker giving the P150 craft a wide berth. In fact, a very wide berth, losing control. IFX Racing look as if they've got a spot of bother. That's Nick Williams and Aaron Emmett. And we have a red flag. So the race is brought to a premature end, and that means it's 4 wins out of 4 for Pickford's. Dean Stoneman and Dean Pelling are having a sensational season. They made it look quite comfortable despite the testing conditions. Second place goes to Thames with Typhoo in third ahead of Oval Racing and Peters and May, but Pickford's are proving unstoppable in the #1 position.
My goodness, 4 out of 4 races.
Going past the start-finish line was quite flat, but going up towards the bridge in the first turn,